Welcome to Coach's Corner here at Gold Canyon. I'm Russell Herndon, PGA Professional, and with me today is current Utah player, PGA Player of the Year, Haley Sturgeon. Haley's in town to work on some events before she goes back to Utah, but we had a practice round yesterday at Sun City South, and Sun City South has a lot of elevated greens. And so one of the things that we worked on yesterday, and I think is a great lesson for y'all, is how do we hit into what we call zone 3 and 4? How do we hit elevated shots in order to be able to get a ball to stop, or so that it doesn't run? Our greens here, like Sidewinder 9, Sidewinder 10, are both elevated, and if we hit a low pitch into that green, it's going to roll. And so today we're going to talk about how do we work through elevation of the greens. Okay, so now when I'm thinking about a normal pitch shot, all right, I think about kind of in the middle of my stance, and I just swing the golf club and things of that nature. And I've got 20-yard targets out here, so I'm going to just take the club back and swing. Okay, I think you're kind of about the same thing.
Yep.
Okay, so now if we're going to try to hit into zone 3, which is going to be an elevated shot,
right,
a little bit more elevated, what are you going to try to do with that?
I'm going to move the ball, for a regular pitch shot, it's going to be right in the center.
Okay.
If I want to go a little bit higher, I'm going to move it maybe a ball forward in my stance.
Okay.
But that's adding a little loft
okay.
in our club. So rather than having a hands pressed forward, I'm going to have that more neutral, more in the front of my stance.
I like it. Okay.
And in order to get that distance, my stock shot per 20 yards would be about right here.
Right.
But if I have a little bit more loft, I maybe need to swing a little higher.
Okay.
So that way I can get it there.
Okay. Are we hitting it hard? Are we trying to hit it harder, or are we just trying to get that from the length of the swing?
Me personally, I'm not a fan of trying to hit it harder, just because I know myself where I'm going to jump on it, and I've turned a 20-yard shot into a 35-yard shot, putting myself in more trouble. So all I'm thinking about is getting to that place and swinging through rather than trying to hit it harder.
Okay,
I think that's going to be more consistent.
So you said something very interesting there. You said getting it to a place. Are you feeling the place, or are you kind of taking it to a certain, clock position? It's, kind of both, but it's a clock position of, when you're practicing, is you get into a mode of like, okay, this is my 10-yard spot. This is my 20-yard spot. And so you're getting where you can feel these positions, but it is like on a clock. And so if I'm trying to hit it, not harder, but if I need to get a little bit more distance because of the height, right,
I need to move up that position on the clock.
Okay. And then now if we wanted to really not hit a flop shot, but if we wanted to really, hit this thing at a really steep angle so that it comes down on the green, because the greens are narrow.
Right.
They were kind of narrow at Sun City South. And they're narrow certainly on 10,
right, that
if we don't hit it high enough, it's going to roll off the back. So now what are we going to do if we're going to try to hit a really, not a flop shot, but a zone 4?
So to get to zone 4, I'm going to take it off kind of in position where my driver would be on the inside of that front foot.
Okay.
And, naturally your hands move forward to match that position, but I'm going to keep it back, maybe neutral, maybe a hair back.
Okay.
Because that's really, you can see, I don't have to open up my stance or anything to get it flat. All I'm doing is moving my hands back, which adds loft to that club.
Okay, so you're not thinking about opening up the face like
no.
so many people talk about. We're kind of keeping that face as square
just
as we
keeping it square.
Keeping it square to your target.
The more elements that you add to it, the more complicated the golf shot is.
Right.
So if I can keep it here, move my hands,
okay,
I've just created a loft, like more loft on my club.
Okay.
And all I did was move my hands.
So now, when you do that, do you still have to now take it back just even a little bit further?
Just a little bit further, because we've added,
okay,
this is standard, added maybe 4 or 5 degrees of loft.
Okay.
And so now I need to take it maybe to my 40-yard place.
Well, 40-yard place for
yes,
a 20-yard shot.
For a 20-yard shot.
For a 20-yard shot.
Adding twice the loft.
Okay. So now, when you return the club back down into impact, we've always talked about, impact position where your hands are forward of your knees and things of that, trying to get into an impact position, which, for a stock shot, is probably true, right?
Right.
We're going to right there. But do you return the club back do you try to return the club back to your setup position?
Yes.
Okay.
You want that club head to slide before your hands because we're trying to get it up.
Okay.
If we come down like this, we're just de-lofting the club, and we're going to come low, and it's going to keep rolling.
All right. So now you mentioned something else there, about getting into the ground. How do you think about the bounce, or do you think about the bounce of a club when we're trying to hit this kind of shot?
Yes and no, because I tried to keep it simple. So all I'm thinking about is just letting this club glide across the grass rather than digging in and taking a divot.
Love it.
So I just want to glide, you know, nice and smooth, just like a sand shot.
Back up here and swing.
Exactly.
All right? All right, you want to try a couple?
Sure.
All right. So let's do a stock shot first.
Okay.
Okay?
20 yard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, that's not too bad.
Too bad.
Okay. First swing of the day. There you go. Perfect. Right on the number. Very nice. Within about 3 inches of the pin. Okay. So now, if we're going to go up one level, we're going to go up into zone 3.
Right.
Okay. Now, what are we going to take? We're going to move it slightly a little bit forward.
Slightly forward.
Okay.
So now I'm, you know, when I think about it, okay, here's center. This is more like irons, maybe hybrids position. So just one ball forward. I'm going to move my hands, keep them in neutral rather than pressing them forward. And I'm going to take this back just a little bit further than I would for my stock shot.
Oh, that is so pretty. Very, very nice. Okay. And then one more. Let's see if we can get it into zone 4. Get it super, super high. And then maybe we'll entertain people by hitting to see if we can hit a tight lie flop shot.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So I've got my ball on the inside of that foot. Hands are at neutral, maybe slightly back.
Just kind of let the clubs just slide right underneath it. Okay.
Right.
So now, if we're going to try to hit, if you're gonna entertain the very thought, you know, I don't know. You know, it's kind of a tough shot right here to be thinking about a tight lie flop shot.
Right.
Okay. So now, how would you hit a flop shot on a shot like this? What's your thought?
My thought is when I'm hitting a flop shot, I want to try and get that club flat.
Right.
So I do open it just slightly, while using those same components that we were just talking about, moving the hands back to neutral. So I'm going to open that just slightly.
Okay.
I am going to have a little bit open stance, so that allows me to really come down and underneath it.
Okay, so that's interesting because I'm a little bit different. I mean,
Okay.
I like to have. I actually flip the wrist through in order to be able to hit the ball even higher.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not. I don't go here and just hold. I'm here, and then I'm literally taking and letting the club kind of go back vertical.
Okay.
Through in order to get that club sliding and really, really steep and high.
Okay.
Okay.
And I wonder, it's different for everybody. And for me, I've had 4 wrist surgeries. So that could be the component that's difficult for me to flip the wrist.
We don't want to flip the wrist.
Right.
So we can still get it up in the air, but we're just not going to be able to get that really fast spin and things of that nature.
Right.
Okay.
So I think it'd be interesting. Let's show them. I'm going to demonstrate my way.
Okay.
And then I'd like to see your way as
All
well.
right. That's fine.
So I've got that hands neutral. That club is open.
Yep.
I'm here.
Oh, beautiful. See how high that thing went? Nice.
So
Even still, you got a little bit
bit
bit at the bottom of it,
when
didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
When I'm watching you, though, you really get your wrist
Yeah.
going.
So yeah, for me, and I think about, a shot like this. Yeah, I'm thinking about I want to be here high and then really just crank. You see how that? And this is for a 20-yard flop shot. I mean, I'm really swinging.
Really swinging.
I'm really swinging.
And that's an important note too, is people ask all the time, how do you get the spin on your ball with these high shots? And it's speed.
It's speed,
It's
absolutely.
all about speed. And so you have to make these big, and I get a lot of time for my students is, well, if I can't have that much speed when I'm hitting a 20-yard shot. But you have to if you want that spin.
Exactly. If we want to spin the ball, the more spin that's going to create off the faces here. Naturally, we want clean grooves and all that kind of stuff. But it's speed.
Yes.
It's speed. Now, speed where? At the ball.
At the ball.
At
yes.
the ball. Speed at the ball.
Correct.
So even when I'm going up here to here, there's my speed.
Right
down at the bottom of it. Right.
So we don't want to speed up our tempo.
No.
It's more. It's at the ball.
It's here and then at the ball.
Correct.
So let's see if we can open this face up and pray a little bit.
Beauty.
That's not bad. Pretty
Nice
good.
and high.
Pretty good high. About
Deep.
20 yards start.
Yep.
Okay. So there we have it. That's Coach's Corner for this week. Want to thank Haley for joining me here. And if you've got any questions, see one of us in the golf shop. But when we're working on pitching, you know, we have to move the ball position, get it higher. Think about getting into different zones. We're not talking about a straight stock shot here. We need to get the ball in the air, get the ball in the air. That's why I think this is one of the most critical lessons that we can do here for you, is to teach you to get the ball up, 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 and higher in order to be able to get the ball stopped. Okay? Thanks for coming out and watching us, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks.